Hi, Facebook. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Facebook. We're talking about treatments for COVID just to catch you up. Anyway, this is, I feel like science is incredible in so many ways, and you better stay tuned for Olive's segment later because she does a science segment. But
Please.
science is so cool and how it evolves and how it changes. And I remember where we were 2 years ago
Mm.
with COVID, and we weren't even I remember
Anywhere near
everything.
this.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like pandemonium. It was like, what is happening? Oh my
Exactly.
god.
It felt completely surreal. And I remember watching, I was a senior in high school at the time. I'm sure we all remember 2 years ago, we didn't know what the world was going through and we didn't know what this was. And now that we're pretty much used to it, and now that we have, I'm just glad that people with high risk, like if God forbid they do catch this will help them, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing that I'm trying to wrap my head around, which is why this is so huge, I think, is because, even myself who was like so paranoid, I'm out here, I'm getting outside. I'm trying to, accept that we're at a point in it where I'm not high risk, but it's like sometimes we forget that there are people that are still inside that cannot come out because they're immunocompromised. And it's just like, I don't think anybody that isn't going through it can even wrap their heads around that. Like, and I love that now that there's hope for something different for them, because I
Yeah.
think even people that, of course, everyone was trying to stay inside, but you could go for a walk or anything. There's some people that cannot have one microbe of anything. Like they can't even, I don't know. I just can't. I'm just so happy for those individuals that can take advantage of this in the off chance they do catch COVID.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's
This is
a step forward.
this is definitely a look up from the past 2 years, which we haven't seen much of in the past two
Mm.
years. And honestly, I just hope we can go from here because America tends to have a habit of moving 3 steps forward and about 10 steps back. So
As Olivia
Doing the hokey
Rodrigo,
pokey.
that's funny. As Olivia Rodrigo says it's one step forward and three steps back. While I do think we made some progress with, I think, vaccinations and everything, there's so much work that can still be done, and cases are pretty much down or they're up. We're gonna be talking about that later, but it's hard to monitor and track all this progress over 2 years. It's hard to compare where we used to be.
Yes.
Mm.
And I think it's hard because it's new every day. And that's what we've learned from this has been the
Mhm.
norm for the past 2 years. It's I wake up and it's something different.
Yeah,
I go to sleep.
the virus keeps mutating and we're like, oh
It
no,
does.
stop.
Oh, there's a new variant. Oh, cases are down with the new
Wow.
variant.
Only moments ago it was Omarion.
Oh my Omicron. And
Oh my god.
now it's BA.2 and there God forbid there's another one. God forbid. Knocking on wood. There's no wood in the studio.
What?
Thanks. Anyway, um
No,
we're
it's
gonna be
not
moving on
what
to our next story. We're gonna be talking about voting. JT, take it away.
So Passaic County sets 2 early voting sites for Paterson election, which, as you can tell, sparking complaints. City Council has recommended that each of Patterson's 6 wards have an early voting site, allowing their residents to cast their ballots during the 3 days before the May 10th election. But the Passaic Board of Elections commissioners have decided to establish just 2 early voting sites in the city, one at a mosque near East Side Park in the 3rd Ward, and another at Patterson's fire headquarters on McBride Avenue in 2nd Ward. All 4 challengers in the city's mayoral race said that 2 locations seem like an attempt by Passaic County's Democratic Party brokers to benefit from the incumbent. 3 of the challengers are current members of the city council: Michael Jackson, Alex Mendez, Luis Velez. They said they might not have supported the early voting ordinance if they had known there would be just 2 polling sites. Jackson said, quote, "This is discussion, it's voter suppression." Mendez said, quote, "They're disenfranchising people. How can you have early voting in the 3rd largest city in New Jersey with only 2 polling locations? That doesn't make sense."
Mm.
Keith Furlong, a spokesperson for Passaic County Board of Elections said there were only 2 polling locations in Patterson last November when officials conducted early voting in the general election. Furlong said the election board chose to stay with the same 2 sites used last year for consistency. He also added that election officials considered adding early voting sites but had trouble finding suitable places with parking and accessibility for people with disabilities.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Well, of course you can say something on the radio. Is
You can
his
write it
name
down if you
Michael
want.
Jackson?
Yes, that's his name. Hee hee. That's his name.
Nice.
Oh, not
Shimona.
no. Let's move. I do gotta say though, I get both sides of the story, and I'm trying to think as a if I was living in Paterson, I live close to Paterson. I live like a few minutes away. But like if I lived in Paterson and it was like, oh, it's my time to vote, and I tried to think, the city of Paterson's a pretty decent size, right? And like where say like I'm not nowhere near these 2 locations. Do I get to vote early? What do I like? Do I have to travel out of my way to go all the way over there? And the fact that there's 2 and the fact that Paterson's a decent size, it's pretty big. It's a city, and they only have 2 locations. Just doesn't seem fair.
Also doesn't really make too much sense.
Yeah, like the math isn't mathing. Like it's
Math isn't
not.
mathing.
Yeah.
It's
I
not.
don't know, but honestly, didn't they say it's early? So maybe they might possibly open more, come the actual voting time. I don't know, but
Yeah, hopefully they will. It's on May 10th, if I'm not mistaken. They
Yeah.
start, the voting. So come
Yeah.
on, Patterson, anybody who's in charge of this, let's do it.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to put a box, right? It's just like a box and you put your ballot.
Exactly.
So
Or it's like the ones that you actually go to in person.
Well,
I'm not-
here's
it might be
discreet.
those.
okay.
The thing
I-
is, there are so many sites that they could use for this. There's the public library, there's City Hall. Like I mean, I remember growing up, even in Montclair, like on voting day, they would turn a lot of the school's gyms into like a voter whatever outpost. And it's kind of like, yeah, it's as simple as quote voter suppression. Y'all
Mhm.
really don't want people empowering themselves by voting the people that they need in power to change things in Paterson. And Paterson's been like on the up and up. Like I remember, things were this really does feel like a step back, actually.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it unfolds.
I would say that it is a step back, to be honest with you. It just doesn't seem fair at all.
Yeah.
Because the way I think of it, the way like for me personally, like where I vote for like my town, it's in one of the church's like multi-purpose rooms. I don't think there's an excuse that you don't have like I don't know why they said the reason why there's 2 because they were used last year. That's cool, whatever. You can use the same 2, but why can't we add more?
Right, but it's kind it's so funny because if you talk to them about money and corruption, they'll understand every word you're saying. But all of a sudden, people are trying to cash in their rights, and it's like
Nope.
they don't even understand plain English. It's like I'm glad at least that we're talking about it, that it's in the news somewhat, because again, like all of this can only change if we expose it. And
Yeah. I know it's
annoying.
I hope they open more because they have some time. They have about a week or 2, and I hope that they do get the opportunity to have more because that is a civilian's right and they deserve to express that right. But with that being said, we're going to go to a very short break and we'll be back here on the Morning Buzz very shortly.
You want to feel important.
Video games are cool or whatever. Video
Yeah,
games are cool or
whatever.
whatever. Anyway, welcome back here on the Morning Buzz here at 90.3 WSC. Up from Claire, we have more
So-
news to deliver you today. And we're going to be talking about Dr. Fauci. We all know who Dr. Fauci is.
The Fauci.
That's what I call.
Not the.
I'll be honest with you.
The
I'll be honest with you.
Fauci.
During the pandemic, that's what me and my mom called him around the house.
Yeah,
Like, whenever,
the
like,
Fauci.
if you guys remember, like Fauci did those, was it press conferences or like
Yeah.
the meetings,
Mhm.
and I'd go, oh, the Fauci's on, and that's what I do. Anyway, we're gonna be talking about Dr. Fauci. For those who don't know, he made a comment about no longer being in the pandemic phase. Well, he takes that back. Dr. Fauci walks back on his comment that the US was no longer in the pandemic phase of COVID-19. The Biden administration officials and Fauci were scrambling Wednesday to emphasize that the country is still in the midst of a pandemic and that the emergency measures are still needed after Fauci told PBS the precise opposite. Judy Woodruff of PBS NewsHour asked Fauci Tuesday, quote, "Here we are. It's the end of April. It's spring 2022. And how close are we to end the pandemic?" And then Fauci replied, "We're certainly right now in this country out of the pandemic phase. Namely, we don't have 900,000 new infections a day and tens, I guess, of thousands of hospitalizations and thousands of deaths. We're at a low level right now." And then he also added, "So if you're saying we are out of the pandemic phase of this country, we are. But a day later, not even a day later, after his comments made headlines worldwide, Fauci says we're no longer blah, blah, blah." And I saw headlines, and Fauci was singing a different tune the next day. Fauci told the Associated Press Wednesday, quote, we are in a different moment of the pandemic. The US has de-escalated. Did I say that right?
De-escalate.
Yeah. I think I'm doing a good job.
Decelerate.
Doing great.
Decelerated. Oh, decelerated. Thanks, Olive. I can't read right.
Got you.
And transitioned to more of a controlled phase after a winter surge. Fauci added a quote in his 180-degree turnabout. He said, quote, "By no means does that mean the pandemic is over." He told the Washington Post Wednesday, quote, "The world is still in a pandemic. There's no doubt about that. Don't anybody get any misinterpretation of that." I gotta say, there's one thing, it's hard to take back your
my.
words because you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. And that's just a fact.
Also because you're literally the person that people have been looking to after our president failed us. Like, and you're okay. You know what? You know what?
Olive just shifted in her chair and went, you know what?
Yeah, not the Fauci, the mouth, because you can't close it or open it without. Look what you just did. Look what you just did. You're
Yeah,
gonna
he
confuse
put,
all the silly people. Come on now.
Yeah, he put his right foot in and then he put his right foot out. Like, really, like, he went, whoop.
And
He was,
then
he was testing the water. He was like, no pandemic. And then, oh, never mind. Whoop. And then
not
took it back.
testing.
I do get.
Oh my
Sorry, go ahead.
gosh.
I'm just saying, I do get what he's saying, that we're no longer in the hype of it, like the intense part of it, but we're still in it. You know, I think his words were taken. I'm trying to read like back what he said. And he said, yeah, we don't have this many amount of infections and whatever, like how bad it used to be, but we're not out of the pandemic phase. We're still in it. We're still wearing masks. We're still getting vaccinated, which are things that probably should still be doing. And yeah, it's still the same thing, just different day.
Then my question is, like, if I'm gonna be completely honest, I think in what he did in the first place was like kind of assert the obvious, and just his phrasing sent people to a frenzy. Like, no offense, but we didn't need as Lara would say, the Fauci to tell us that where we are now is not the same place we were a year and a half ago.
We've noticed
Yeah.
we've noticed the change. That's what we do. I feel like as humans, we just notice change, we adapt to change.
Yeah, and
all
the
that.
fact that he went out of his way to say that might have been part of the reason why people are like, oh my God, even Fauci says we don't have to worry anymore. And then, people don't know how to read. reading comprehension just goes out of the window.
Hi,
all
I'm
of a
reading
sudden-
comprehension. I can't
No,
read
don't say
sometimes.
that. Don't say
I'm
that.
just kidding.
My
And
whole
all of a
thing is
sudden,
like,
he's like, wait a minute, hold on, I didn't say that. Now everybody's like, oh, you're backtracking on what you said. And it's just like, that's part of it. But another part of it is use your common sense, Becky. Just read.
Rebecca did nothing to you. No, I'm kidding. Well, here's my thing. He's talking like whatever side of this you're on, it kind of just goes back to our first story. Like there's a whole, I'm not going to say subpopulation, like they're not in the same population, but I mean quite literally almost like an invisible population right now of people that have had to stay inside, can't come outside. Trust me, the pandemic is very real for people that can go outside, maybe see a family member and like die because of it, because the proximity. There are people that are still enacting not only 6 but 12 feet. Like that's my whole thing is you're not addressing, you didn't think about those people before you opened your mouth. We need to measure by our most vulnerable population. That's how I feel. I feel like we would be more ethically and morally motivated as a people if we were focusing our attention on the people that need, the extra boost. And I feel like that, that is the whole thing. It's the erasure of people that don't have the luxury of even dreaming up this sentence that the pandemic is over. Because that's
Exactly.
just not in their world right now.
Because I feel like for those people, maybe in their world, when the pandemic is quote unquote officially we're out of that phase or whatever, it's when they can go and enjoy life back to what it kind of used to be. And I just hope that in the like it gets better for them, especially.
Wait, hold on.
Holding.
Hold on. What if Fauci got so excited when he read the news about the cure that he was like, we're out of it. And then they were like, all right, relax. And he was like, okay, like, never mind. But like, what if this is a result of that optimism? Because from one day to the next, see, I'm putting it together now.
All of it is theorists.
No, I gotta make sense of most things because there's just so much that is out of our control and our understanding. So I'm going to try to make sense of the things I have the clues for.
I agree with that.
And, but I hope, okay, it's just a buzz theory, but
I was just going to say, and that's just a theory. A
buzz theory. Let's see.
Yep. Speaking of COVID, it is time to move on. We're talking about vaccines
For young children.
Oh, for the babies.
Yep. Every white conservative's favorite topic. But vaccines for young children delayed by incomplete data, the FDA says. The Food and Drug Administration has not yet cleared a coronavirus vaccine for children under 5 because the vaccine manufacturers have not finished their applications for authorization. But Dr. Peter Marks, who oversees vaccine regulation, said the agency will release a schedule this week for outside expert review of vaccines for the nation's 8 million children younger than 5. That is the only age group still not eligible for coronavirus vaccination. The administration officials have said the FDA might not rule on whether to authorize a pediatric vaccine dose for that group until June. Senator Paterson, Democrat of Washington, who chairs the Senate Health Committee, told Dr. Marks an FDA oversight hearing, said, quote, parents are frustrated, they're confused, and I am too. Dr. Marks said he was barred from commenting about pending requests from the pharmaceutical companies, but he said, quote, just remember we can't actually finish our reviews until we actually have complete applications. Both Moderna and the partnership of Pfizer and biotech are developing doses of the coronavirus vaccines for their very young children. But Moderna appears to be closer to filing its request for emergency authorization. A Moderna spokeswoman said last week that the company expects to file by the end of April, but did not say whether the company's application will be complete by then. Pfizer is expected to file an application in May. Many such applications involve rolling submissions of data.
It's a waiting game for young children. And a reason why I didn't really want to put the story like first is because, I mean, I don't know if our targeted audience is 5 and under, to be honest with you.
Any children listening?
For all you
No.
5-year-olds out there.
5-year-olds.
Just imagine like a 4 or 5-year-old at the kitchen table at this hour with like a black coffee in the newspaper with WMSC on. Like,
Yeah.
Like, what is this world come to?
What is this?
Nah, but the kids are really like that now. Like they have all the information,
Oh my
so they be
gosh.
stressed out early. What?
I think like not only that, just the way kids are growing up in pandemic phase, or not, according to Fauci. Just kidding. But
Oh, Lord.
pandemic phase though. Kids growing up in this phase of the world is probably really tough for them.
My pandemic phase.
Oh my gosh, a new show that I have. For those of you who don't know, I have a show called My Emo Phase, which is Mondays, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. here at 90.3 WMSC. Upper Montclair. But thank you. But it's hard, and I'm sure, I know there's a bunch of vaccines you need as a kid, that you need to go to school, go do anything so you don't get incredibly sick. And maybe this hopefully will be one of them, just to protect young kids, because let's be real, I'm sure they're vulnerable to it. I'm sure
They're new. Like everything about them is new. Like they get sick of touching people. I doubt they're that immune. Dang it.
You know,
to COVID at this point.
I'm sorry. I
somehow
just
it's
keep
gonna
thinking
come
about how
upon.
they pass it back and forth in school. You know, they just
Mhm.
they sneeze on everything and each other, and then you know,
germs.
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like
when-
it's just they besides the immunocompromised population. I mean, once we get the kids handled, this thing is pretty much.
Done.
Then we can break out the pandemic's over t-shirts and everything. Fauci, okay.
I'm sure. But in the meantime, we hope that I really hope that everything's really sorted out. The data is sorted out, because these kids are vulnerable and they probably need that vaccine as much as we all do. We all need to be vaxxed. And that's just a PSA from me. Anyway, we're going to be taking a short break. This is Moved by State Motel. Upper Montclair. We have so much more news that we're going to give you. Now, I unfortunately don't have good news, which is really sad, because the Oklahoma governor has signed a ban on non-binary gender markers. So the Oklahoma governor, Kevin Snitt, signed a bill Tuesday that bans the use of non-binary gender markers on state birth certificates. According to the LGBTQ legal advocacy group Lambda Legal, this is the first ban of its kind in the U.S. Several states have done the exact opposite in recent years, though, allowing citizens to use non-binary gender markers on state documents. Those states are such like Colorado, Arkansas, California, Connecticut, Indiana, and Hawaii have all adopted the gender-inclusive policy. The federal government now allows non-binary gender markers on passports. But this bill follows a 2021 civil case against the Oklahoma State Department of Health. The agency was sued after it was refused to allow a non-binary option on birth certificate. The department settled the lawsuit and allowed the use of the non-binary option. Despite the settlement, said it used the executive order that would prohibit people from changing their gender on birth certificates. The federal law against the state from Lambda Legal is ongoing and seeks to allow transgender people to correct the gender marker on their Oklahoma birth certificates. This ban on gender markers is the latest bill targeting the LGBTQ community that has signed it to a law. This is one of those cases where I like to think to myself, why can't you just let people be themselves?
Why are we still doing this?
Like,
Yeah.
oh
That's
my
the
God.
question.
You know why? Because they need us distracted while they only give us 2 places to poll in the 3rd largest city in New Jersey. That's why. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What is the
busted?
problem
Oh,
with just
dude.
saying prefer not to say? Because you know what? That is like not even non-binary. That's just prefer not to say. Like, why can't y'all just do that?
I agree with that, and I don't know if they have that, but I think they should have both. You should have
Right.
not obviously not the non-binary option, and you should have prefer not to say, because some people don't want to specify, and that's fine.
But I guess I'm saying for the places that don't want to get into the politics of it, it just says male, female, prefer not to say.
Yeah,
And
or it says other.
Or other, right. And that's kind of what I mean. Like, and I hope we can get to a more progressive place where we can be more inclusive. But there are like, I mean, according to what I've seen and read and experienced lately, there are even apparently like other emergent genders. I mean, I don't know how much they can really I just don't even think it really matters. You know what I mean? It should just, I think for me, I was talking to someone in the medical field who's telling me they wish that everyone could express their gender for like their own, you know, for what they need. But all they really need to know is if you were like what you biologically possess so that they can better help you. And if you've had surgery from one, you know, to change that, then they need to know that just so that they don't heighten your risk if you're undergoing a procedure or if you're prescribed certain medications that interfere with your hormones. So, I mean, as much as I want there to be like more genders and like more whatever gender markers that people can do, I think really all it comes down to is like, can people just be people? And then like when it matters, we can talk about, you know, what, again, biologically, what we're predisposed biologically as, or, you know.
I have the same mindset, honestly, because they're in reality and probably science as well. I don't know if this is factual, but this is what works in my brain and what I think is moral or whatever. There's sex, which is biological, what you have, and then there's gender identity, which is what you identify. And the gender markers,
right.
What are we doing gender identity, or are we doing biological sex? What are we doing?
Yeah, that's the problem. This type of conservatives confuse the both. They think sex is gender and it's not the same. You know, it's a simple Google search.
It's so but it's puritanical to think that way in 2022. Like, this is not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just
every year that we progress, we always say, oh, it's 20 blank. Like, I remember it's 2016, we always said, oh, it's 2016, we should know. Well, it's 2018, we should know. It's 2020, we should know. It's 2022, we should know. But people are still not learning and people are still not educated, because this rolls into a education problem too. I think there was one in Florida being signed, the LGBTQ, the Don't Say Gay bill, about how you not being educated on LGBTQ gems, sex education, everything, even just sex ed in general. People are not educated at all, and they're refusing to let people be educated, and that's a problem.
That's the thing for me.
Free.
And that's a problem.
I don't know. Listen, if it's the year 3085 and I say that I'm glorpian, that's what it is. Nothing you say is gonna make me less glorpian. And you know what I'm trying to say.
I know what you mean.
It's never gonna, like, this is another issue of people minding business that's not theirs when they should be taking care of business that there are bigger fish to fry than what people decide to be when they are speaking about themselves. Like, come on now.
There's a saying, and I'm sure you all know it, and it's you practice what you preach. And they are not practicing the correct education, and they're preaching things that are affecting communities and people. And with that being said, we are going to move on to talk about marijuana in Montclair.
Hey.
Pot sales a missed opportunity in Montclair. Well, on Saturday, after getting a second COVID-19 booster, a Montclair resident headed over to a marijuana dispensary, Rise in Bloomfield, to legally buy pot for the first time. 2 days earlier, on Thursday, April 21st, 12 medical marijuana dispensaries in New Jersey began selling cannabis for adult recreational use, nearly a year and a half after voters approved recreational pot in a statewide referendum. Although Montclair was the first municipality in New Jersey to host a medical dispensary in 2012, the then Greenleaf Compassion Center, which reopened under the new ownership as Ascend in 2021, recreational sales have yet to start here. The Township Council voted last summer to agree to let recreational marijuana businesses operate in Montclair, but the township hasn't come up with an application business that they can submit. Ascend representatives has been hoping that the council will pass a resolution authorizing the company to start selling recreational pot, bypassing the need for an application, as some other communities have already done. Ascend opened its dispensary in Rochelle Park and to recreational purchases on April 21st. The Montclair resident said, no, my bad. The Montclair resident said there was a line nonetheless, but it was celebratory and gave time for people to connect over stories of smoking pot during its prohibition and to talk about the stigma associated with it over the years. It's about ding dong time.
Let me tell you, did they interview my roommate for this? Because he basically told me an extremely similar story of, I guess they're not selling it. Well, we have a place in Montclair, but they're not selling it recreationally at the moment.
That's Ascend.
So
Yeah.
but they are due to do it. I do want to make that clear.
Yeah. We don't know when, obviously, but I'm sure now that it's legal in the state.
I think in Montclair they're gonna play games though. I'm not gonna front.
Honestly,
I'm not gonna front.
that's what I was.
Yeah.
When we reported about this, I think last week, it was either Thursday or Friday, and it was talking about Ascend not. It could have been a few weeks ago. It was talking about Ascend not getting or like Montclair not letting them get the papers, or them not getting the papers to like sell it recreationally.
They play too much.
Yeah, and I honestly had a feeling that was gonna happen, because this has no facts. I just had a feeling and a vibe
No, it's
that
valid.
that Montclair was gonna be like, we're not gonna sell it recreationally just yet.
Well, it's on Bloomfield Ave, across from all
It
that
is.
work they just did at the Wellmont.
Yeah,
And I feel like which only honestly echoes that vibe of the prohibition vibe, because it's like you're good with anything that makes money, and you don't want anything to make your little like town look, I mean, come on, Montclair is one of the most progressive places on this coast. Let's just get it together.
I think so.
And but just a little trivia. Are y'all familiar with the Inner Eye?
No.
So the Inner Eye is this legendary water pipe shop that's also in Montclair on Bloomfield Ave, but they are actually they're a little more east of Ascend, like a few doors down. They actually used to be located where Ascend is. That was their old location. So there's actually a long history of well, maybe I can say it now, of association with this culture, cannabis culture, I'm trying to talk around it because I know when you went in there, you couldn't call it anything but water pipes. But in any
That
case,
was-
I just think it's really I hope that they can, loosen their grip on them a bit, because they're doing a good thing at the end of the day, and the legacy could stand to continue in that location, because it has been,
yeah.
it's amazing.
What I wanted to touch upon, I was reading like this article and I was like annotating it just for radio, just to make it sound nice for the ears. And the Montclair resident, they were saying that I think they were older, and how there was a stigma around the culture, and how now it's something celebratory, because as once a thing that people get arrested for,
Mhm.
it's now you can buy it legally.
And we're gonna need that reform on the other side, by the way. Don't think we're so excited with all the smoke in the air that you're gonna blow some in our eyes, and we're gonna forget about all the people that you locked away
Which we
for
don't.
zero reason, off one roach that you found on the ground that wasn't even theirs. So
I think, with that being said, they probably have some bigger fish to fry instead of people associating with the cannabis culture, in
Mm.
my opinion.
mm,
But now I'm sure it's legal, it's decriminalized, but we're not going to forget about what happened when it wasn't. And I don't think we should forget,
They need
because
to
that's
release
important.
the people in jail.
yeah, people
I'm
are still
sure.
Release
affected.
them.
I agree. And
Mm,
that's wrong. It's
My whole
wrong that
thing
they're still
is,
there.
yeah, I can't, just because people get to have their little boutique cannabis stores.
But people are still in jail.
Yeah, and it's I can't. There's only so many ways I can express like
I'm glad you brought that
the
up.
frustration, because real families, like real people,
Are being affected.
real, like it's real life for some people, and
Yeah.
like, and then I don't know. It's gotta be. It's like, how do you fix a problem that big though with mass incarceration?
Yeah.
Now not only do you have to undo this mistake, you have to confront like basically the spirit of this country,
Exactly.
and that's what people don't want to do.
And with what we were saying before about COVID and how people with high risk can't really enjoy life, people in jail can't enjoy life now that this is like legal and everything. What it's not, it's there's a correlation. You know what I mean? There's a correlation between the high risk and the people in jail, because there's something in common. There's a not enjoying life just yet. Do you know what I mean?
Well, this speaks to policies keeping them where they are.
Yes,
You know
that's
what I mean? Yeah, no, I totally see what you're saying, and I couldn't agree more. It's just
I'm trying my best to word.
no, you got this. You got this.
But with that being said, we're gonna be moving on to
I see it.
You
I
see it?
it.
Do you want to
and
read it?
No, you have to,
Oh,
because
It's
it's
Olive Nye the Science Gal. It's time for Olive's science segment.
I need
gotta have the
I need a
music,
sound bite
yeah,
for this for
yeah.
sure. Just like like different like animal
Yeah.
sounds, and like just like, all right, like we're entering right. I need like some, because like there's not really like science sounds, I mean,
Not scientifically possible.
wow. So what is scientifically possible right now is me giving you
Science.
science.
Other than that,
Okay?
that's science, guy. Other than that, that's science, guy.
I mean, what can I say? No, Olive, the science pal.
All
right. Because I'm feeling a little fluid today. Speaking of gender identity. So, all right, the first story is, let me tell you guys, I've been having so much fun because I always read my journals and my articles, but then I just read them. Now I can talk about them and bother y'all and get some feedback. And the coolest thing is afloat in South Korea. Okay. Oceanics Busan is what they have named the world's first prototype for a sustainable floating city. Yes, you heard right. The climate crisis is showing more of its teeth than ever, and the threat of rising sea levels has scientists and engineers getting creative about how we can adapt to the imminent changes promised by our failure to care for Mother Earth. The plan is for the city to be based right off the port city of Busan and will comprise of a, quote, flood-proof infrastructure that rises with the sea. As the plans reflect, the city will be 3 floating masses that will be connected by bridges And yeah, the partnership was forged by UN Habitat Oceanics and the city of Busan. I got to hear what you guys think about this.
Floating city.
Floating city that's sustainable
I
in response to
something.
rising sea levels.
I got something. Remember the Phineas and Ferb episode where Doofenshmirtz creates his own city? It's called Doofenia and it's on the sea.
Wait, is Phineas and Ferb predicting just life?
I hope so.
Is
I want a roller
Phineas and
coaster in my
Ferb-
backyard.
Is Phineas and Ferb the
new
modern day
Simpsons?
Simpsons?
Yes. I think it honestly, first of all, Phineas and Ferb is so
We're
underrated.
talking about climate change. We got
I was
we
gonna-
got Swinter.
You know what's funny? I was gonna mention,
God.
I was gonna mention climate change and all that because that's important and whatever. But the way you went, that one episode of Phineas and Ferb.
And I gotta say, if you look up pictures, this looks amazing. Like
No, it
the
is
city is
really,
this is
really
futuristic.
cool.
We're in the future now.
Well, we are in the future now because we've accelerated the future entirely. We buy with cow farts and crude oil.
Wow.
That was for reporting purposes.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, methane gas. It's a real thing. Like,
Reporting purposes, science segment.
yeah.
Wait, I want to see this thing. I'm gonna try to paint a picture.
And you know what? I
going
need to
around.
figure out a
Hexagon
way to
Wow.
you know what? I'm just gonna make a promise on air right now that I'm gonna do my best when with things like this to maybe have some visuals and I can share my screen because
Ooh,
for people that are watching,
Great
you got to
idea.
see this stuff to
I'm
believe it.
gonna
It's
share
so
my
cool.
screen right now.
Or
So Lara's
there's,
gonna have you on
40
this screen share for
hexagons.
everyone that's logged in on.
Look at her. I'm gonna open her in a new tab.
But look how okay. So this is what you're seeing right now is the expanded version, but the first
Mm.
prototype
Those
is
look like the
3
Sims.
platforms.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a quite a dozen here on the extended prototype for those who are listening, not on Facebook. I'm guessing this one is going to be the 3 or so because it looks like there's 3 platforms with
I
decently
can,
sized buildings.
I can send you the link. Hold
Oh,
on.
perfect. It's really
Um,
interesting.
Yeah,
Look at the
I'm
link.
honestly okay, so not to go there, but what I'm really interested to see is because think about it, New York is not good. People don't understand that New York is sinking a specific, I forget what the increment is, but it's exponentially picking up year after year because more people and then the rising sea level. So by the way, I'm sending the link in the chat here just so you can copy paste it.
I would, but copyright. I learned.
Oh,
Sad
okay.
face.
Oh,
It's okay.
okay.
We learn here at 90.3 WSC
We
up in
are
Montclair.
only always learning here.
Because science.
But that's okay. Please, I mean, you can find any story that you'd like that I'm speaking of on the good old Google. All right, on to our next story.
Woo!
Paper thin. Listen, I can't even I just get way too excited. There's another story out of MIT this week, okay? And it's not the torque of Oreos or how much torque you have to use on Oreos to get them apart. Researchers have developed, get this, a paper thin speaker, okay? The device can transform any service into a vector for high quality sound.
Wow.
And yeah, perfect for immersive entertainment or just plain convenience. This speaker can change how we understand and interact with sound. The possibility of 3D audio is basically the only thing I can think about reading this article because, yeah, Vladimir Bolovic, who boasts titles such as the Fairbour's Massey Chair in Emerging Technology, director of MIT Nano, and the leader of the Organic and Nanostructural Electronics Laboratory, or One Lab, said of the feat, it feels remarkable to take what looks like a slender sheet of paper, attach 2 clips to it, plug it into the headphone port of your computer, and start hearing sounds emanating from it. It can be used anywhere. It just needs a smidgen of electrical power to run it. I knew that was going to get you, Lara. But it's really a quote. That is not a paraphrase.
I love.
Yeah. because the energy requirement is so little, and because of what the technology enables, they can scale this product up to cover large surfaces. Imagine wallpaper, but it's an audio source. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, dude, like I'm not okay. By redesigning the actual
No.
structure of the speakers, they were able to deduce that tiny domes on a thin layer of piezoelectric material could vibrate individually. The domes are a few hair widths across and are situated next to each other. And this is in contrast to the traditional iteration of speakers, which require the movement of a larger whole membrane that are, like they're designed to be freestanding because the film must bend to produce sound. So this is one of the cooler things that I've read about lately. And as an audiophile, it's not just weird news, it's a beckoning sea awaiting my sales, because
Dude.
literally, can you imagine putting like a whole panel on your ceiling and you can have music
Oh.
raining down on you?
Oh,
Bro,
playing Rain on Me by Lady
Like,
Gaga.
okay, like please. And then of course I need the carpet version.
Duh.
MIT.
I'll be honest.
Listen, you
I
heard it
didn't think
here.
about that. I was like, why would I need a paper thin speaker? But now that you say that, it's amazing. Like put it on the
Yeah.
walls. Like, oh yeah.
Wait,
You know what
Now
I would
get it.
do?
You could put it
you know
all
those
over your house.
speakers that like emit lasers, and like depending on what song you play, like the light shine from it. Imagine that, but as wallpaper.
Oh yeah, they could definitely do that. Like,
Just your walls.
see,
bumping.
I would I would roll myself up in it like a carpet, like a body in a carpet. Well, because I would be a body in a carpet, but like I would literally just do that and be like in a paper towel tube of my
Head-
favorite song.
Headphones are
Olive
out.
burrito.
Body roll is in.
Body rolls. You put it all over in one room and you just blast maybe the morning buzz on Thursdays.
Oh,
Maybe.
Probably
Maybe.
the morning buzz. Yeah.
I think you should the morning buzz. But what was I gonna say?
Sonic
speakers-
Sonic burrito is all I
Sonic
need to
burrito?
say.
Sonic burrito.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh, when you said slender like speaker, I went Slendy Man. Ah,
Bay? No.
Slendy Bay.
Slendy
For those of you
Bay.
who don't know what we're talking about Slender Man.
Okay.
Good sign to move on.
You know the
Yeah,
10
and we
foot
shouldn't elaborate.
giant
No.
monster.
Just Slender Man.
They're gonna cut the frequency if we elaborate. So my last story is a Whopper.
I just had a Whopper.
Okay. Wait, what?
I just had a Whopper last night.
Epic.
After work.
Oh, okay. I was like, it is 7:59 a.m. Are you
Hey,
okay?
listen,
Where
food
you
is
find a
food.
Whopper?
Hey,
No,
my college
food is
student
not
came with
food.
work.
And I listen, I will let you read my essays on food deserts and inequality another time. But this story was brought to you, or has been brought to you, my beautiful listeners, our beautiful listeners, by our very own queen, Lara Ziccardi. Please put your hands together. It's a beautiful story.
Thanks, Pookie.
Okay.
I love you.
I love you so much
I love
because
you.
a California Jack in the Box is messing with robots, man. I'm telling you, Jack in the Box is launching a pilot program to experiment with robots, which, by the way, this sounds like something that's already happened, but like we just made so many jokes about what the future would look like that this doesn't even sound like news. But in any case, they're launching a pilot program to experiment with robots that will aid in the production of food. The first of the robots that will be tested are Miso Robotics Flippy 2, which is a frying robot, and Sippy, a drink prepper.
Oh my
The
God.
goal is to see how these automations improve workflow for staff during the busiest times. It seems that though a time frame has not been set for the course of the program, the company plans to further integrate robots at their San Diego location. Some of the benefits of food automation include more consistent quality during rush hours and less stress on the workers who are under immense pressure when they're busy. But there's also the concern that this may mess with the balance in the workplace, as reliance on robots may mean they hire less people. And, robots still can't do everything. So I hope that this only positively impacts the fast food industry, rather than making them feel like they can buy one robot and hire one person and running that one person into the ground because they feel like they have a robot to help. You still need a staff, okay? Like,
I agree.
So in any case, what do y'all think about this one?
I must say,
Wally.
we don't have robots here at 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, but this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, when you were reading that, all I could think about how the name Sippy could be like an e-girl name or like a Twitch girl. Imagine.
Wow. Okay, new personality downloaded. My
Don't make me ooh-woo on air. Don't make me ooh-woo on air.
None of us ever have to make you. You will just sit your way.
Hey guys, welcome back to my Twitch. Sippy. I feel like Sippy needs to quit making drinks and be an e-girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sippy,
Like
if you need us to help you
mixing
develop an
sodas.
online persona
I
after
mean-
you get your start at Jack in the Box, just call us.
just
Call
maybe.
Thursday Morning Buzz.
Only if you
No.
want. Like only if you want.
Only if you feel like, you know.
You know?
I mean, we could
You having fun up there?
I'm having a time of my life, TT.
we should like hold
Sippy.
hands unless unless
Sippy, we should hold hands unless
Sippy, if you
Unless
ever
you're too busy
understand
pouring
how
your
to
drink.
live and breathe and not just mix soda, come on the buzz.
maybe. Only if you
Maybe.
want to come on the
Well,
bus.
I gotta say,
I
the
love it.
weirdest
Sippy for an
thing about
interview.
this news is that Jack in the Box has money for robots.
Right.
Like that's the weirdest part. Not the robots. Jack in the Box has money.
Hey, yo.
I think you're right.
Every day we
Um,
get closer to Wally.
Wow. Honestly, Victor, just
You're not
first of
wrong.
all, I would like to take my bell off because clearly I'm a sheep and I have just been illuminated. He said, actually, read between the lines. What we are seeing here is that Jack in the Box got money. I can't. I really, really cannot.
I don't even know. I
Yo.
don't think is Jack in the Box just a West Coast thing?
No, they
Um,
gotta
Can
come
I'm
somebody
somewhere.
looking.
remind
I'm
me
looking
what
up where
Jack
the
in the
nearest
Box
Jack in the
is?
Box.
I've seen one in like
Connecticut.
on the way down to like on the way down to Miami, but I don't remember where. I think like somewhere in the Carolinas or
There's one in Oak. Why does it say? I'm zooming all the way out. We have
I mean not the
Oklahoma.
Carolinas.
Google thinks I'm in Oklahoma, guys.
Are you in Oklahoma?
Wait.
No, I'm not in Oklahoma.
Who even be
Oklahoma.
spending money in Jack in the Box like
Yeah,
that? Though?
that's
What
Like,
do
that's
you
what
get?
I'm saying, dude.
Doesn't Jack in the Box have like tacos?
it's like Arby's, but more mid. From
Uh,
California.
not
nah,
But
more.
why is
more
we're not
mid.
asking the real questions here? Why is Jack in a box?
These
Who
are the
put Jack
real
in that
questions.
box?
Who did that?
Nobody puts Jack.
I
in
know
a
who
box.
did it. Sippy did it.
Sippy's
Wow.
putting sodas
Oh my God.
and people in boxes.
And
And getting V-Bucks to play her Fortnite or their Fortnite,
Not
whatever.
Sippy.
She gotta make them money, and she
Yeah.
gotta pour drinks, and she gotta do her Twitch or whatever.
wow.
like Sippy's
we
gender
love her.
fluid.
She's all yeah, you know, they are all over the place. Sippy is
Yeah.
just
Sippy's
like,
She's
just out
gender
here.
fluid.
Sippy's
Yeah.
just out here trying. She doesn't love what she's doing. She doesn't want to mix sodas all of her life.
Sippy's a non-binary queen, and we should respect that.
Yeah.
listen, I didn't want to
agree.
sling drinks either, but bartending was very character building, and now I'm here. So, you know,
It builds
some-
character.
exactly. Sometimes you gotta prep a few drinks.
Poor Sippy.
And with that being said, you are still listening to the Morning Buzz here at 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, except this time it's hour 2.
Straight up.
Listen, that sound effect is way too long and I'm way too impatient, so here's a bong. Victor, whenever you're ready, let's do the newscast.
Of course.
Or a news update as the correct term is.
Yes.
News
yes.
update.
Woo!
Woo!
I'm Victor
Update.
Muñiz Rosa, and this is the news. In local news, an exclusive golf club called Pine Valley is being accused for allegedly having a pattern of gender-based discrimination, restricting women from playing, memberships, and even owning housing in the club. In national news, Harvard University is starting a process to address the centuries-long relationship they had with slavery after a 134-page report uncovered the university's ties with slavery. In international news, the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, was in Ukraine trying to broker peace between Ukraine and Russia. He met with President Vladimir Putin and agreed on relief for citizens trapped in the city of Mariupol. In MSU news, the Montclair and the School of Communication and Media revealed that since the pandemic started, there has been an increase in screen time among MSU students, affecting their mental health. In entertainment news, Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial caused laughter after Depp's building concierge was vaping and driving in his car as he testified virtually in court. The weather today is mostly sunny, but it does not feel sunny. So the weather update is that, it's going to be a low of 36 and a high of 55. Tomorrow, expect a low of 39 and a high of 61. Saturday, a low of 41 and a high of 65. Sunday, a low of 49 and a high of 65. On Monday, a low of 50 and a high of 56. Tuesday, a low of 55 and a high of 65. And Wednesday, expect a low of 48 and a high of 64. That is all for me. I'm Victor Muñiz Rosa. Nos vemos.
Oh yeah.
Awesome newscast. Awesome newscast.
Per.
Alex?
Do you know what sound effect you just played? That's the Kool-Aid Man.
I know that's the Kool-Aid
You kn-
Man.
you
It's
know
called
what-
Kool-Aid Man. Oh yeah, on
You know,
our
you
B
know
bar,
what you
which
drink at
is our
sports games?
what?
Kool-Aid. So it's sports time. I got there. Transition. Best transition. Never been a better transition. In sports news, we got baseball. Last night, the Yankees came out with a win, beating the Orioles 5-2. But sadly, Mets can't say the same thing because they lost 10-5 against the Cardinals. And in football news, tonight is the first round of the NFL draft. The Jacksonville Jaguars have the first pick. The Detroit Lions got the second pick. The Houston Texans have the third pick. And the New York Jets have fourth pick. And the New York Giants have the fifth pick. So maybe the Jets and Giants could do, better this year. And in hockey, sadly, the Rangers lost for the second time in the row, 4-3 against the Montreal Canadiens. And the Devils will play against the division champions, the Carolina Hurricanes. In basketball news, I got some more sad news for all you New Yorkers out there. The Nets lost to the Celtics 116-112, making it sadly official. The Nets are no longer in the playoffs, getting swept in the series 0-4. But I got better news, guys. So hold your booze. The Montclair.
I couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're all good. We got some good news for the Montclair lacrosse team. The Montclair lacrosse team downs Keene and earns the second seed in the CSAC tournament, winning 16-11. And in even better news, the Montclair softball team beat NJCU not once, but twice, destroying them in the first game 0-9, then coming back to destroy them again 11-3. And the Red Hawks will close out the regular season with the scheduled game on Saturday, April 30th. On the road, Montclair will go to Galloway, New Jersey for a doubleheader against Stockton beginning at 1 p.m. I'm Alex, and it's been sports.
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 Thanks
You
for
hit
the
that.
wonderful sports.
I would say that you hit it out of the park.
That was a home run.
Oh, snap. My goal was not to start a whole thing with the sports.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it really, what was I gonna do? It really wasn't a foul ball.
Yeah, all these jokes are going to be a real touchdown.
You know what, Alex? I'm going to have to run out of here because... All right.
On your way out, don't forget to hit the backboard.
That joke was a real swing in the miss, Olive.
Anyway, I think
Oh, God.
and that is 1, 2,
Oh.
3 strikes, and you're out.
Wow.
It is time for confession.
Wow. Wow.
It's time for confessions, ladies and gents, and people who
Yes.
identify as other. So I would like to have a disclaimer that these are not any of our personal stories. These are by the Reddit users under the subreddit r/confession or r/off my chest, because I alternate. Now for the fun. So in honor of Vinylthon, and for those who don't know what Vinylthon is, that was our 24-hour plus Thon.
Wasn't it like
55
55
hours?
hours. That's why I said 24 because I didn't know the
Technically
exact
57,
amount.
'cause he ran for
1
21.
hour for every year that we have been alive because we
Exactly.
recently celebrated our 55th birthday at
Yeah,
WMSC.
55.
Yeah.
Midlife crisis.
And that's so
67.
lovely.
Wait, so I have a question before you
Yeah.
even start this.
Yes.
Did you find this Vinyl-thon confession on
I-
Reddit?
No, I added in honor of Vinyl-thon because it's a
Got it.
vinyl story.
Okay,
because
I'm so ready. Yes.
Are you Olive, I hope you're sitting down. Oh, you are. I can see you. You're sitting down.
I reset.
So this is when we play 55 hours of vinyl nonstop. But this is why I chose this story. The title is I, along with my siblings, destroyed an awesome collection of vinyls our parents collected over several years.
Ooh.
Oof. Good.
Our parents owned original records from their younger years. They had Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, the Beatles, ABBA, Carpenters, Bee Gees, etc., etc. It was our elder cousin's idea that it'd be fun to break them.
Smart.
They were just black and or gray discs to us. We had our fun back then. I still remember the look on my uncle's face. I regret it every time the word vinyl comes up. So does my older cousin because they love rock as well. It was her idea to just break them. We were mischievous a lot, but there's no excuse. We would have been heirs to an amazing collection of vinyls, but we chose violence.
I love that last sentence.
Yo.
We just, I
Me
could just hear
too.
Lewis
But
over
we
here
chose
like,
violence.
I could just hear Lewis over here like not Lewis, Victor.
Wow.
My bad,
Wow.
bro.
I
My
don't
bad,
even
bro.
know what to say to
He's
that,
like
honestly.
convulsing as he's
No,
like
dude.
listening to the names. You're like Led
Because
Zeppelin,
it said-
ooh,
it
Pink
says-
Floyd, ooh, Beatles, oh.
It was like they own original records from all these amazing bands. Like,
Right?
oh my god!
I
But,
think-
like, they were kids, so like they didn't really
Well, yeah,
understand the value.
No, it's not about being a kid and not understanding the value of anything. It's about being a little gremlin and touching things that aren't yours and deciding that a good way to spend your time would be to break them.
And
Yes,
all-
That's what
Okay.
it's
when
about.
Olive says little gremlin, she does not mean me. I'm the exception, right?
No, you're a little gremlin. But I'm
Anyway,
talking
like,
about
I get
little
that.
gremlins.
I get that,
That's
but
what
that's
I'm
just a trait that comes with kids. Like
Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't be mad at them. I'm not saying they like that's an excuse. But what I am saying is like if you're like a child, you see funny disc, you're
Funny
like, ooh,
disco smash. Yeah.
yeah. And then
Choose
like
violence.
now
I
that
was
they're
that type of kid.
grown, I mean they probably still got their butt whooped, but like now that they're grown and they're like, whoa, I'm really into rock. What did I do as a child? That would have been lit.
I get it, but that's just morals, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Now-
oh my
That
gosh.
shouldn't be like, yeah, like you're a kid and whatever, but that shouldn't be an excuse for
I
like,
didn't
wrong
say it was an
behavior.
excuse.
I know you did. But
Look,
I'm
it
just
was the
thinking.
elder cousin's idea, meaning that one
He's
of the
the
aunties
cool
or uncles
cousin.
said something to him and they convinced the younger kids to do it. I see it.
Ooh,
I
which
see
is
the
this?
whole thing playing out. And I feel like you don't come up with an idea like that unless you know it's about to hurt somebody. Because why would you just come up with that game out of nowhere? You wanted to hurt somebody's feelings
I don't know,
and you
kids like
did
stuff.
that and you
Because-
used their kids to do
The
it.
user said like the look on my uncle's face.
Yeah, like, come on.
Not okay.
No.
Oh, so maybe it was their own dad,
Maybe.
the uncle, because it was the cousin and then the uncle's face. So,
Yeah, it was probably the cousin's
yo,
dad, bro.
See, yeah, this is
our
like, I
parents.
blame
So
the
both
older
of them.
cousin. This is like
It's
tell
the
your little
cooler
siblings
cousin.
to curse.
Okay.
type stuff.
Everybody's got that cousin, you know, that cousin that is the cool cousin. There's the older cousin.
Yeah.
It's like he comes over to your house not too often, but when he does, you know, you're gonna have a good time hanging out with him. And I think honestly, this whole story is a couple of kids got together, saw records, and were like, huh, I don't know what that is. I don't understand. I'm gonna smash things because breaking things is fun. Breaking things is fun. You just might need to know what to break is right and wrong. I used to break CDs when I was a kid all the time. It's a grand old time to break things. So
PSA, PSA,
Don't-
don't break things.
Right.
See, this is what makes me. I don't mean to assume gender, but this is what makes me feel like this is probably a group of boys, especially at
Oh, it's
their
100%.
time, because like only dudes. Let's be honest.
I literally did not get that off my first impression. That's
No,
so
but
funny.
it's
No,
like a
it
matter
said
of like
the cousin said the reader said, "quote It was her idea to just break them."
Oh wait.
So the
wait,
older
what?
cousin was probably a gal.
Oh,
See,
wait, I didn't even
see,
catch that. My
See,
bad.
like when
Mhm.
And
ours
this
has
is
been
why gender norms don't even exist anymore. So
Period.
bye.
Yep, and that's a great idea. That's a great sign to move on to our next confession.
Yeah.
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 Ready to read this one? All right,
Yes.
got it. I stole a poster from a cinema, and now I'm afraid that I'll be arrested.
Oh my God.
So the story goes like this. I went to the movies today with my friend to watch Uncharted. I saw a Batman poster in the hallways, and there were no employees. I wanted the poster because I am a huge DC fan, and I had a secret message on it. And no, and it had a secret message on it if it was under the correct lighting.
Whoa.
I had a whole plan with the poster, and I loosened one of the corners to just grab it before I left. So I did, and I ran outside with the poster. I got home and I put it on my wall, but I feel awful all about it. I'm also horrified that I'll be arrested for it. And to be clear, it was not a family-owned business. I stole it from an AMC cinema. Please don't do what I did. It was just a poster, but I feel awful.
Oh my.
Hmm.
Oh
Not
my
as
God.
extreme as the last story, but it's
Um,
still like, I get it. But to be fair, how many posters does the movie theater have?
Do
Mm,
y'all
true.
not see? Okay, so for people that do not use Reddit, this is a very clear karma farming. Um, First of all, honey, we don't mind taking posters that big corporations are not gonna miss. I'll just tell you that right now. They saw that empty where you left the poster, and they did not think twice about where that poster went, boo. They went in the back and they got another one. Baby, enjoy your poster,
Enjoy your
okay?
cake day, babes.
Enjoy your cake day, okay, if it is. And yeah, please, like, no, see, some of these confessions, we just have to orient them better. Don't be scared, boo. I mean,
Yeah.
don't do
Okay.
it again. Don't do it again. You didn't,
PSA: stealing is bad.
yeah,
Feel bad,
stealing
no
is
good.
bad, and you didn't
Yeah.
like yourself when you did that. So you shouldn't do it again. But you should enjoy your poster. No one's gonna arrest you, and you got a great story.
Yeah.
I love it. You're like, enjoy your poster.
Come on, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Come
I
on, enjoy your
remember when I
poster.
was like 15, I did the opposite. I literally went to a usher and I was like, "Hey, what are you guys gonna do with that poster?" I think it was like a Avengers poster or something. And I was like, "Oh, we're just probably gonna put it in the back." And I was like, "Can I have it?" And they were like, "Sure." Not that day. It was like I think 2 weeks later. They were like, they called me like, "Oh, you
Yeah,
can
I
have the
feel like
poster."
they're mad chill with
Oh,
that
that's
though.
hot. They called you. That's me. Oh, you know,
It was
I
a
actually.
smaller theater though. It wasn't like a big
Yeah.
chain one. So
This
it
one
was
was
a
an AMC.
yeah, this is an AMC, so it's different, but still, like maybe just ask and they'll probably.
Exactly.
I can actually relate to your story, Victor. So I, I'm glad you mentioned it because, all right, so the premiere of Black Panther was in Newark, New Jersey, and I went because I don't know, I just finesse being press at mad events in Newark, and then I go. So I was
Flex.
pressed and I made it in, and basically, I ran into my one of my best friends, her mom, and her great uncle, who's also basically my great uncle. He happens to own the DLV Lounge in Montclair, which is this black owned bar, black owned jazz bar on Bloomfield Ave. But in any case, he is Michael B.
Ooh.
Jordan's uncle. And so when we were at the premiere, I happened to run into them. And essentially at the end of the night, I wasn't even going to stay for the premiere. I'm not going to lie. I had no interest in seeing the movie at the time. I was just there to document and see everyone in their beautiful clothing. Everyone was dressed to the nines. It was pretty much a black royalty ball for this premiere. And what I actually ended up procuring for George, the great uncle, my great uncle, was one of those tall movie banners. And I arranged it with someone that was there. They delivered it to DLV Lounge, and they even with like the display like hardware, and it's there right now. You can walk in and there's a giant Black Panther poster that you would see outside of a movie premiere in the bar. Because
That's so cool, bro.
well, it was just one of those things where he's so proud of his nephew, and I kind of was in a position to like finesse. I'm not afraid to like ask questions and get things done. And I honestly thought that it wasn't going to work out, but I basically told someone, okay, here are the facts. And this is where, this is why I need this. And he's like, all right, cool. And I think it was even later that night or the next day it got delivered. Like they delivered it for me. I didn't even need to.
That's fancy.
Yeah, it really
Oh,
was really cool. But anyway,
That's awesome.
so bottom line, enjoy your poster, baby.
Exactly. Get your karma, get your cake day.
Just, you're good.
And
you're
with
good.
that being said, we're going to go to a short break here on the Morning Buzz. We'll be right back. Welcome back here on the Morning Buzz. I hope you missed us. You are still listening to us here on 92.3 WS's Upper Montclair. What a lovely time, what a lovely day. We're going to be talking about some more important things. We're going to be talking about Twitter. We're going to be talking about Twitter because recently Elon Musk has bought Twitter for...
yeah.
Yeah. Elon Musk has bought Twitter for $44 billion on Monday. And we have news of the new owner, and it might lead to some destruction of who might stay and might leave the app. Now it's set to become a privately held company by the end of the year. So Musk, for context, Musk has referred to himself as a free speech absolutist, which calls for policies that might favor leaving up most tweets and some extremist accounts on the platform, bringing into question what Musk's ownership will mean for previously suspended users. But firstly, let's address the elephant in the room. Trump said on Monday that he will not be returning to the app. So you ask, who is returning to Twitter? Tucker Carlson is returning to Twitter. He returned to Twitter hours after Musk's deal was finalized. Carlson was suspended from Twitter in March after violating the platform's rules for hateful content. Carlson tweeted some transphobic tweets about Dr. Rachel Levin, an assistant secretary of health. As Musk's deal is not yet complete, it is unclear if Carlson's suspension ended because of the new owner. So we just don't know. Who else is returning, you ask? Mark Levin. Mark Levin is a host of a radio show called The Mark Levin Show, and Life, Liberty, and Levin on Fox News also returned to Twitter on Monday for the first time since January of 2021. Levin was not banned from Twitter, but he was suspended his own account in January in protest against Twitter's fascism. That's what he said. Levin tweeted on Monday, quote, "Thanks to new ownership, I've decided to come back." Lovely. Lastly, but not least, who's still returning? We have Marjorie Taylor Greene. So Twitter permanently suspended Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, and that is such a handful of a name, but that's okay. they were suspended her personal account in early January for repeated violations of Twitter's COVID-19 misinformation policy. After Musk's deal was finalized on Monday, Green used her congressional account, which is still active, to share screenshots of the 5 tweets flagged for misinformation that lead to the banning of her personal account. She then wrote, quote, "My personal freedom of speech was violated on this platform along with an unknown number of Americans, and I want my personal account back." As of Tuesday, Green's personal account has not returned. But you ask, who's leaving Twitter? Jamila Jamil. The Good Place actress, writer, and activist Jamila Jamil wrote in her last tweet on Monday, quote, Musk got Twitter. I would like this to be my last tweet. What lies here as my last. I fear that this free speech bid is going to help this platform reach its final form of a totally lawless hate, bigotry, and misogyny. Best of luck. So what I'm hearing is a lot of Republicans returning and an activist leaving. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, that's what happened.
I don't know what Twitter is going to look like now that Musk has it.
I have an idea. I can't say it, so I'm gonna leave it at that. But I have an idea.
No, please don't.
Well, luckily Twitter already has design flaws, so we can't ruin it anymore.
You're right, because I don't really
but-
use Twitter, so I can't really say much about this.
That was more of a Tesla burn, but in any case, I just want to say I have one thing to say about this and one thing to say about it only, and it's not even an elaboration of an opinion or a feeling, but it would take 22 billion to end hunger right now in this country.
But you use 44 billion
For
to
everyone,
buy Twitter.
for literally everyone that's hungry.
You spent 44 billion to let, for lack of a better term, racists and bigots be racist and bigotry.
And misogynist.
That's everything in between.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
You
44
spend half
billion.
of your fortune about just to be like, you know what, this is a safe place for you guys. When it could take maybe what, 2% of your fortune to do what billions of people are struggling to do every day.
Yeah, not only hunger, but like, housing or education, anything. You could have used anything for that 44 billion, and you used it to buy, like, I would say, like the most toxic social media platform. Like, why is this happening?
According to, I looked up why he bought Twitter. According to CNBC, Musk said that the earlier part of the reason why he wanted Twitter, because in his view, the changes that need to be made to the platform can only be done if it's a private company. So what are you changing? What's gonna happen?
I have an idea.
Don't you even dare.
No, I learned. I'm a smarty now. I
Okay.
think.
Oh,
Smarty.
and Victor, you told us before the show started how Elon Musk wants to buy jokes about buying Coca-Cola.
Oh yeah, he tweeted. This is like it was like 10 hours ago. He said like, obviously I think this is a joke, but who knows? He's so rich now, like he could do anything.
I know.
He said he would buy Coca-Cola just to put cocaine back in the formula because like before the 80s, I'm not mistaken, like it had like
He's
literally-
That
no,
was
1800s.
No,
Yeah, 1800s, my guy.
All of our parents were not drinking that
That's what
type of
that's
Coca-Cola.
what
Well,
I'm trying to say, but I said
actually-
80s, exactly 1800s. Yeah.
All good.
You know,
But-
the only way this could be fixed if Disney buys Elon. Like they got it.
You know what?
I don't know if the mouse wants anything to do with Elon
Not
because
the mouse.
the mouse.
I think the mouse and
No,
Elon are
not
probably
the
friends. Let's be
mouse.
honest, guys.
For those that don't know, I call the Walt Disney Company the mouse because Mickey
It-
Mouse and because the mouse owns all. Okay.
The mouse knows
The mouse
all.
owns Marvel. The mouse owns Star Wars. The mouse owns Pixar. The
20th
mouse
century.
owns the mouse owns.
The mouse.
The mouse
knows
owns
all.
more crazy
Should we
stuff too.
call? I think Elon Musk should be called the Mouse 2.0.
Have you ever seen like a visual representation of what Disney owns?
Oh God.
Nah, I will send it to Buzz Chat because
I watched the video.
y'all are not ready.
And there was somebody debating, like somebody was asking, since like the big phase of Marvel is ending, does that mean like the end? And somebody concluded, no,
Nope.
because to end Marvel, you have to end Disney. And to end Disney, to quote Marvel, is to court death.
Yep, but our general manager, Annabella Poland, sent this in our show discussion chat. And the headline reads, with $40 billion, could Musk have given $1 million to every person in the US instead of buying Twitter?
Yeah.
Which is absolutely crazy. And that's a claim. And wow.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, I deserve that deserves to be a repeat. Elon Musk. The claim is Elon Musk could have given everyone in America 1 million and still have 7 billion left over instead of purchasing Twitter for about $40 billion.
You see, we're still hungry.
But
We're
then
still
we will
broke.
have
Come on, man. If I had this money, we
hyperinflation.
would already be
No,
fixed.
then we
To
would
quote
have-
Hamilton, we are young, scrappy, and hungry, and
No,
we are
then
very
we would-
hungry.
Very hungry.
we would have inflation, but we would have people in a better place, which is what the elitists of this country do not want in any way, shape, or form. We would have people off the streets. We would have people in school. We would have people educated. We would have just people in a much better place. But unfortunately, a select few of select people in America believe that America is only worth something if there are people below you.
The thing, what we were talking about before in hour one with Oklahoma banning all these gender neutral, like non-binary and gender things in the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida, people are not educated. And with that money, people could be educated. And that just shows what America has come to and what capitalism is now. And is that the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, and the gap between the middle class and the lower class and the upper class are slowly becoming a gray area of just the wealthy and the working class. And that is what it is. And I would also like to quote this fact check. Apparently he could have, they suggested, solve world hunger or ended poverty. And one viral tweet claimed that Musk could have given every single person in the US $1 million. And I feel like that money could have been used for so much good. But since all these people in power just want all this, once they get a little taste of power, they want it all, right? And once they have money, they don't care about other people except for themselves. That's just my assumption. That's just a theory. A buzz theory. Yep.
No.
And it's absolutely ridiculous. I'm actually gonna read more of the article because this is
Lara?
absolutely fun. Yeah.
I think we have a little bit of opposing views on this because I think obviously I believe America, everybody's working. Capitalism is, in my opinion, really the only functioning way right now, because you look at other countries and you see how their economy is failing, how people in poverty are suffering more when you don't really have any kind. Like Europe is like the small exception, but they have such a small population compared to America that they could do other things than capitalism. And I don't like Elon Musk should definitely give a large portion to charity, which he does, but he'll be, I think, pay the most taxes than any other person this year alone in American history.
I would like to admit that I got the article wrong. Our general manager, Annabelle Poland, has said it's debunking this theory. And it's saying that the math doesn't really add up. Using the population to figure the tweet, if Musk really decided to dole out the $40 billion to everybody, it would equal in each individual about getting $121.21. So the math is not correct. So it's pretty much debunking that every person get $1 million.
My whole thing is not even about what we can get out of Elon Musk. It's more just that I mean, here's that word again. It's unethical to have that much money and while like people that work minimum wage jobs pay more taxes than these people that have the money. It's deeper than just having money and not giving it to people that don't have it. Like there is no, even with that money, you cannot buy another lifetime, which you would need about 100 of them to even put a dent in all that money. You need to buy, like, all you can really do is buy Twitters with all that money. Like, that's insane. You know what I mean? Like, you're not living on the same plane as other human beings at that point.
Another math, Polyfact did the math on this one and found that if Bloomberg's 500 million for ad purchases were divvied out equally, every American would get $1.53. And I'm going to keep going with this. And how much money does Elon really have? He apparently has $270 billion, but that's quite not enough money to give everybody in the United States $1 million. So it's not just true. But Elon did donate 5.7 billion to hunger. So I think that's just the thing with life. Everything's just kind of like a gray area, you know?
To jump on what Alex did mention, he mentioned capitalism is the only thing that works. Capitalism works when it has potential. It
Wait,
has
can I
huge
just say one
potential.
thing before you launch into it, JT?
Go
Only
ahead.
because the way I'm about to log off this call because I have to go early today is not in response to my rage that I feel about this story. I just want to make that clear for everyone listening and watching. Have a good day.
Nah, you did.
Goodbye.
All right, take care.
Take care.
Nah, but it can work. The problem is we have people that are maliciously and vilely taking advantage of the capitalist situation. Like I brought up before, this is the country, they say, oh, nothing works without a sense of competition, but it's no longer a sense of competition, it's a sense of elitism. It's not a sense of, okay, I'm just gonna do all I can to get what I can. It's a matter of I just need to stay in power. I'm not worth anything if there's not people below me. And the people at the top are never going to do their part fully to make sure that it's a fair game, if that makes sense.
Our general manager, Annabelle Poland, said in show discussion, don't get me wrong, he's an evil genius, meaning I don't like the guy, but we cannot just quote memes. And as a person who likes memes, I 100% agree with her because there are facts and then there are memes.
Yes.
Two completely different things.
Facts and memes. Let's keep them a little far apart.
Yeah. Like the Coca-Cola thing, probably a joke, probably a meme, not factual.
Yeah.
We can't
No, I didn't use it.
No,
as a
no,
news,
I know.
I'm just stating the fact that he said that, as a joke.
That's true. The fact is he said that, but we don't know the meaning behind it.
No, it's yeah.
Words are so interesting to me. And just he has such an interesting mind, and with that much money and that much power.
Yeah.
Why is he not Batman? Get real bad. That's my problem
Alex is
with
asking
Max.
the real questions
Well,
here.
I think
Speaking
he
of Twitter, I saw a
buying
tweet
Twitter
like
was his like Batman move. I think that's like in his mind.
Okay, if you have all that money, why don't you got an underground cave with a really
Well,
cool car?
Well,
Maybe he does. We don't know what's
Exactly.
happening. If I had that money, I would be Batman.
He might be an Avenger because something like starting the coronavirus is an Avengers level thing. So that might have been Elon.
that's a theory of
That's
JT theory.
definitely
buzz
that's just a
theory?
JT
That's a
theory.
JT
That's not a
theory.
buzz
That's a
theory.
JT theory.
What, that Elon Musk started coronavirus?
That's just
No,
you.
we're moving on.
That's a
Guys,
JT theory. That's
no,
not even a buzz theory.
we're going to a break. JT is going to be put in the penalty box. His mic is off. His fader is down.
Wow.
Haven't had that in a while.
No, JT's in timeout. We're gonna go to a very short break.
Wow. could feel something wrapped in it. We were happy to find just the McDonald's bag and not something worse. What? Oh no.
Not you. Keep going.
The particular logos on the bag and wrappers that Jones found appeared to be from the first and original logo for the 1950s, with Speedy McDonald's, the original mascot before Ronald McDonald. There was another mascot, sorry, holding a sign reading, "I'm speedier," and custom built
I'm speedier.
custom built hamburgers. Coincidentally, Jones said his home was built in 1959 and it was just down the road from one of the original McDonald's in this area. According to Jones, there was an additional and somewhat frightening bonus: the leftovers fries did not smell. Jones posted the photo of his new discovery on Reddit, and comments poured in with jokes, asking Jones to let them know how the nearly leftover fries tasted, and even going so far as to tell Jones he should save the fries for someone to examine. One commentator joked, "The way it crumbles into petrified potato dust, so I'm good. I recommend pairing them with ketchup." Another claimed that Jones is officially an archaeologist.
I just can't get over.
I can't get over
Speedy.
I can't get over custom built hamburger.
You're not, JT, you're not affected. You're not by far bamboozled by the fact that this man found a decades old McDonald's bag with food in it in his bathroom.
No, not at all.
No, that's completely normal. Where
Yes.
else do you eat
Is it normal?
No, this is we're at the stage where nothing surprises me anymore.
Do you
Like,
think if I start digging a hole here or like somewhere around Montclair, probably by Hawks Crossings, do you think if I dig far enough, I would find a McDonald's bag with
you
food in it?
might
Yeah,
find
probably
McDonald's bags
plastic
everywhere.
at
I
least.
found a McDonald's bag in the dryer, completely doing my laundry. The
But
other
it's
day.
not from like 1960 something.
No, but
That's like
like
probably
it's
from
just
last
like,
week.
I don't know.
That's old
But
enough, right?
That's,
Yeah.
that's not what surprises me. I mean, I am surprised that they had another mascot before Ronald McDonald, my boy.
You're not bamboozled by the
Ronald
fact
McDonald's your boy?
that there's decades old food in the walls of your bathroom.
No, I am bamboozled at the keyword phrasing custom built hamburger.
And
And it does
Speedy
not give
McDonald's.
like I know they're trying to say, like, hey, you can make the hamburger any way you want. No. If you found this still intact after all these years, custom built hamburger has a completely different and sinister meaning
Yeah.
to it.
It's not a Big
Meaning,
Mac. Yeah.
It's not a Big Mac. It's not a Mac of any kind. As a matter of fact, they probably made burgers with styrofoam back then.
And that's just a theory. That's a
Oh,
JT
Buzz.
theory.
Oh, that's just
I can't even say buzz theory because my theories might scare some of y'all.
No,
Okay.
let's make the FCC happy today now,
Do you
shall
want to hear an
we?
experiment I did with the Shamrock Shake?
No.
Yeah, sure.
Sure, that's
I don't know if it's still in the trash room in where I dorm,
If it is, I'm scared.
but I left it there and I checked on it like 2 weeks ago and I left it on the floor on the side because I wanted to see, because I left it in my room by accident over spring break, a Shamrock Shake, so it got kind of moldy
Oh, dude.
and it changed colors to-
Alex,
Mm.
keep going.
It changed colors from
It's
green-
not Shamrock Green.
No, it's now like a dark blue.
Oh.
I hope your mother is listening.
My mother is listening,
hope
so
she's
she hears
listening.
about this. So,
I
well,
hope
I got
she's-
it out of my room. I got it as soon as I came.
Wow, do we?
Yeah, I did the bare minimum,
I was
guys.
gonna say, Alex did the bare minimum.
I got back from spring break and I put it, just put it. Well, I grabbed it. I was like, huh, that's pretty weird that it's now a dark shade of blue. I want to see if it turns into a different color. So I put it
Just for
behind,
scientific.
just for
purposes.
scientific
Yeah.
purposes, because I was bored and I was like, let's put it behind the recycling bin. So maybe it's still there. I'll update you guys next week on my share. If it's still there, I'll let you guys
Tune
know.
in next week for that.
Oh my god!
Can you update us today? Like send us a text.
Wait, Alex,
like,
what are you doing?
Yeah,
this
I'll
is what
send
happened.
it in Discord.
Alex, where do you
maybe.
dorm? I know Machuga, but where
Yeah,
in?
Gibson said.
Okay, I'm gonna go check
Oh
when I go
my
back.
gosh, I have no words. But like, I get it for the sake of science.
For the sake of
Not scientifically possible.
next week during Olive Science Hour, I can tell you about my findings.
No. That actually doesn't surprise me because, fun fact, not a lot of people know, but I do believe the actual color we associate green with the actual color of mint. No, if you like dilute that,
Yeah, it's white.
Nah, I've seen blue a lot. So when you
Blue?
first told me that, I was scared. I was like, wait, why is it blue? But then the more I thought about it, I was like,
Oh,
wait.
I thought
actually
just
makes
kind of the
sense.
mold mixed with the green dye, creating
my
a
God.
blue
Man.
color.
That too. Like that
I
would
can't
help.
believe I didn't take a picture of it when I was just sitting in my room.
I'm
Oh
happy
my
you did it.
god. Okay, it's a great idea to cut this conversation
Yeah,
short.
thank God I didn't eat breakfast.
Speaking about
I did
breakfast.
for once.
The
Yay!
one time you eat breakfast.
The one time I ate breakfast,
What you eat?
I had oatmeal. But that doesn't
Yummy.
matter because we're going to be talking about Tropicana.
At
And
breakfast.
Tropicana creates a cereal to be mixed specifically with orange juice.
No.
This
No.
cereal is specifically intended to mix with orange juice instead of milk. In honor of National Orange Day on May 4th,
No.
dubbed with the Tropicana Crunch, it is touted to be the first ever breakfast cereal created to pair with Tropicana Pure Premium. TropicanaCrunch.com will be the only place to get this odd cereal, and it will be selling May 4th, and the juice company will give away boxes for free while supplies last. Tropicana Crunch is described on the box as a honey almond cereal, and the website claims that it has honey almond clusters. After experimenting with various flavors and textures, Tropicana decided on a granola-based cereal because it can resist the acidity in the orange juice better than flakes, which would become more soggy more rapidly. The honey almond flavor was chosen to counteract the tartness of the orange juice. Tropicana has taken a bold attempt to address some of the orange juice's faults for the first time in the last year with orange juice matching cereal. Tropicana Toothpaste was produced last year as a limited edition giveaway.
No, not the toothpaste.
It was specifically designed to keep your orange juice tasting good after brushing your teeth.
I don't believe that. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
I can't believe they make a toothpaste that can make orange juice good after you brush your
Am I
teeth.
a heathen for wanting to try this?
No, I want to try it
No,
too.
you're
but
not a
it's-
heathen. It's just scary. We might have issues after we try it.
I think I
Hey.
might like it.
I love that Olive talked about robots creating our food, and then we're talking about orange juice on cereal. Like it's like a whole like.
No, because here's the thing. I have done this. Orange juice and cereal. There's a
Why?
no. There is a small, not an elaborate story like yours, but a small story. Long story short, we were out of milk, and my brother thought it was like a good idea to put orange juice in a cinnamon toast crunch, and then he goes, "This is really good." So me, clearly not believing him, I had 2 spoonfuls, and he lied like a
Wow.
monster.
That's a good
It was
one.
I
not good.
think what I need to do on May 4th is to try to get a box of this.
General Kenobi.
Because honestly, I think listen, I would try it with the orange juice, right? But I want to have it with my oat milk in the morning. But like maybe orange juice is a good option because I'm a little lactose intolerant. So what if I have my cereal with OJ, right?
Oh, I didn't think about
You
that.
get your
That's
vitamins,
very
a lot of
valid
vitamin
point.
C.
Exactly, because I get vitamin C. Is there vitamin D in orange juice?
There's probably vitamin D in everything.
There's vitamins A, B, I don't know, C,
D, E, F, G.
maybe
H, I, J, K.
elemental P, I don't know,
Possibly QRS.
and TUV,
WX.
Y and Z.
There you go.
Wow,
Now I know my
vitamins.
Vitamins.
Oh my
Vitamins.
God.
But no, I think I would do. I think I would just do. I would do it. I
Just
think.
do it.
I think I'm. Do we? I think we have a sound effect for that.
Yeah, we probably got the just do it.
Do it.
No,
That's
we
not
also.
the one I meant, but I
Just do it.
I knew we had it somewhere.
Do it.
Oh, I accidentally. Okay. So I made an oopsie daisy on B bar.
Ooh.
So for those who don't know, B bar is our little. I call it a shortcut for next gen, and we have our sound effects that I so love to play. And when you click and drag on another square, like it's all like a grid, and when you click and drag on another square, it will take that sound effect you click and drag from, and it will put it on the other like square. And as of right now, there are 3 Jason Derulo sound effects on B-Bar because I messed up those 3 times. So we have Jason Derulo, and if you didn't think that was enough, we also have Jason Derulo, and if you didn't think that was enough, we also have Jason Derulo. Wow, I have no words.
We have Jason Derulo. Hey!
Jason Derulo.
Yo,
We
Jason
do not.
Derulo. If you're
I
listening.
wish we had.
You
Jason
know what,
Derulo.
Lara? I'm gonna make this as my mission as Morning Buzz Booker. I'm gonna try and test my luck, and if I can ever land Jason Derulo, I'm gonna hand that over to you and see you resist the temptation to hit that button every
want-
5 seconds.
A top of the
If-
hour, Jason Derulo.
If I get, listen, I have to say yes, top of the hour, Jason Derulo. And if I get to interview Jason Derulo, I would have him do his own Jason Derulo. I would also like to say our general manager said in show discussion, Tropicana has a lot of sugar, and sugar from a granola and sugar from OJ equals sugar spike and a subsequent crash. I can word correctly, but I want to try it. I kind of want the sugar rush because I like sugar.
Well, in cereal in general, like many of the cereals have a lot of sugar.
They
so,
do.
So
Cinnamon
imagine,
Toast Crunch,
yeah.
like that's my
Cocoa
favorite one,
Puffs,
but it's
Fruit
just
Loops.
like
Those are like bad cereals though, like too much sugar.
yeah.
Like, 'cause I
Cookie
think
crisps.
Cookie
Those are just
crisps.
literal
Those are cookies
cookie-
for breakfast.
They're just cookies.
yeah. I was telling Olive
Oreos.
food is food. Like I'm serious. Like
Food be food. Maybe Elon Musk can give
What's
us
the
some
deal?
cereal. I'm just
I
kidding.
hate when I be eating something in the morning. Somebody like, oh my god, you're eating that in the morning? Like, yeah, what time do a stomach open? Like if I want to eat ramen noodles
Did
at
you
8
just
o'clock in
say
the
what?
morning.
Did you just
Ramen
say
noodle-
what time
Did
did
you
your
just say
stomach open?
And did you just say ramen
There's
noodles?
a lot to unpack here.
Everybody loves ramen noodles.
Love them ramen noodles.
I do, but I'm serious. I was that kid in high school that would just like show up to like my like 7 o'clock class with like a bowl of like leftover spaghetti and just like sit there eating it. And my teachers and everybody be like, oh my god, you're eating spaghetti in the morning. What's wrong with you? And I'd be like, oh my god, you don't even eat, so shut up. And it was
Wow.
Dude.
Wow.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Laura.
Wow.
By the way, me and
I've
Laura
come
went
to
the same
talk
high
with
school.
you.
For those who
again.
don't
For
know.
those that don't know,
no.
did you have the classes with like those people who would like eat hot Cheetos?
Yes.
I was the hot Cheeto.
And iced
JT was
tea?
a hot Cheeto girl, confirmed.
No, no, no.
And they would always be like, it would be like 7:45, and you're just trying to like chill before like a day at high school.
And then it's just me in the back of the class
Would you
smacking
be?
on hot
Would you
Cheetos.
also
Would
be
you-
eating Takis?
Yes.
Would you be really loud, just screaming at your friends at 7:45?
No, I wasn't that bad. Unless they made me angry and I had to yell at them to shut up.
You
that
had
was
a.
an exception.
You,
But I wasn't that bad.
As a kid who always slept, like for the first half an hour of like the day because they would get to school real early because their bus was real fast.
yeah, but you used to arrive at school at 7:30 a.m.
Yeah,
and school didn't start until 8:10 a.m.
that is true. So I had 40 minutes of sleep, and then there would be that like person in the back just going, "Hi, what's up?"
Where
And
my
I'd be
hug
like-
at?
And I'd just be like,
I just
Sorry.
I just got the biggest PTSD from that.
exactly.
Where's my hug?
And they would get all over their hands and stuff, and they would be like,
Wash your
"Ah."
hands.
Yeah, wash your hands.
PSA. Wash your hands.
Not a call to action.
That's why I
Mr.
said
Almond, you
PSA.
too funny.
PSA.
I didn't
you
have my
could do
homework.
that.
Yeah.
Learn something new.
But anyway, if you eat hot chip, good for you. I personally won't here at 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. You know what? Maybe I will try cereal and orange juice right now. Again, join us same time, same place tomorrow for the Friday edition with the girl bosses. Have a great day.
Woo!
You're
That
listening
was a
to
great show.